Okay, this is Samith Pich from samithpitch.com. I am on the line with some amazing people. Actually, I went away for a while, and how long has this webinar been going for, Rob?
Well, the official webinar was just an hour long, but that was it many hours ago.
Minute,
But
3 hours?
it's been
Has it
going
been
on for, no, it's been 4.5 so far.
four and a
Four and a
half
half.
hours? So, the people that I'm talking to are literally internet marketing machines. This is what they do all day. They just drive traffic and they go on webinars and they just smash it. So what I'm actually doing at the moment is I'm talking to a very special fellow. Um, this screen, yeah, that's perfect, Rob. That's absolutely perfect just there. I'm talking to a very special fellow called by the name of Rob Tepper, and we've only recently been connected to each other. We're both in Matt Lloyd's Mindline Business Empire. He's doing some amazing stuff, and he came back from Cabo with the Platinum Mastermind with a bit of a better tan, looking good as always. And we just got connected through Skype, and he came up with me through this really awesome idea, which really solves a lot of problems in the internet marketing community. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to interview this amazing fellow and just quickly get his take on this whole idea. So I just want to introduce Rob Tepper and Rob. Can you just say a little bit about yourself? I know we'd like to go on for hours, but just tell me a little about yourself and let people know about you if they don't already.
All right. Well, I really appreciate that introduction. And as Sam said, I'm Rob Tepper, and it is a pleasure to have the chance to know Sam. And if not for this story that I'm just going to share a little bit about, I wouldn't know him. And what's really most interesting to me is the fact that up until all of this came together, I didn't really think that I had a story. I just had all these little stories that people that I've met along the way, you can kind of see from the shadows here. But this was a presentation that I did just about 2 weeks ago, and it was the result of a number of things. By the way, this is Prezi for any of you who don't know. But this was going to, as Sam said, it was actually the Titanium Mastermind in Cabo San Lucas at the beginning of October, and I almost didn't go, but I'm going to show you a couple pages here that are part of my presentation that will kind of give you, oops, that's the wrong direction. That's the wrong direction too. Hold on. Oh, there we go. This should do it. Yeah, there we go. So because I just did this recently, I can tell you my story, Sam, just this little part of it because there's a lot of other little pieces. But I've had a good life and successful business career. I've had a chance to start and operate many different companies. I spent many years as an electrical engineer doing semiconductor design and then semiconductor I worked in product engineering and applications engineering and test engineering and product marketing, everything that you could imagine. I had a couple of good companies, and then I was a chancellor of a university, and one of the best parts about that was being able to, it was an MBA program and as well as an international English program, and in the MBA program, I reviewed over 200 business plans that were mostly marginal quality. But one thing that I knew was what it takes to have a good business plan. As a serial entrepreneur, I wrote several parts of several business plans, and the best idea that I ever had was with one of the guys who's now in this thing that we've put together. He was not even an internet marketer, but because of the idea and the timing for him and for me, he's now part of what has developed that we'll get to as we get through it. But what I found was that when I left my position as the chancellor of a university, a very prestigious job, by the way, that I would have happily stayed in until I retired, I was actually doing it with family, and Lisa, I never did get the chance to talk about that, Lisa and Curtis I'll bring that another time. But Lisa, in her story, she talked about being in family business. So this was kind of that. And that's why I had the opportunity to be in this prestigious position. But I actually created the title of chancellor at the because they didn't have, it was still a new university when I went there. But anyway, when I left, my boss, who was a very difficult person in many ways, but also gave me this great opportunity, having worked in that environment, I just knew that I did not ever want to have another boss, because if I could not make it work there, where it was family, but obviously different dynamics there. But I knew I was already over 50, and as an engineer and as a manager in engineering for many years, I was seeing people get laid off all the time that were very talented, that were in their 50s. I always thought of people in their 50s as being old. Now I'm in my 50s, and I'm thinking about going back to the workforce after having been an entrepreneur for 10 years. And those 10 years, I mean, that's a whole story that I could share another time, but to keep this 10 minutes, I get out of 30-year career in all these different things, and making good money, and raising two amazing kids, a daughter, Rebecca, who's 23, and a son, Michael, 22, having two wives who both are talented and impressive in their own ways, having two other relationships during that time that were 4 to 5 years. So what I like to say is, between all of these 4 relationships, let alone some other ones, it was like 24 years. So it's like being married for 24 years, 4 different women.
Yeah.
So I had all that, and I got out of at the age of 51 and left this university position, knowing that I would have done it forever if she had been a good boss, but she just made it so difficult, and it just got to the point where I got fed up. I actually quit over the fact that she refused to approve the purchase of a color copier after I had, it's just been too many things. I had been.
It was a straw that broke the camel's back, not just because you really loved that color photocopier, was it?
No, what happened, I had gotten schools through accreditation, and I was not, every 3 months or so there would be an issue that it would make me question why I was even there, putting my time, just putting my life, because I was an entrepreneur, I like to do it for myself, but because of the dynamics here, I didn't have any ownership position. I was doing this more because it was a great opportunity, but at the same time it was, family, and everybody reported to me, but I reported to this person.
Yeah.
And what I found was that, I was always justifying this behavior. I always had to justify why we had to do things that I didn't agree with. And being this thing that you're seeing now, Sam, that you're part of, it's so nice to be able to have the opportunity not to have people controlling that. But anyway, I get out after all of this with a master's in electrical engineering, with lots of experience running business and everything. But I wanted to do internet marketing and just not have to have a boss, not have to have employees. I loved all of those aspects about it, but I also had done a lot of network marketing stuff. I knew that it didn't work for me, but I knew that it did work, and I knew a lot of, number of people that were doing it successfully. At the same time, I thought maybe if I take internet, network marketing, and then I started to work with local business marketing, but I didn't really know anything specific that I wanted to do. And so during this time, and this will just kind of bring it all together, I did all of these things. One thing that was critical that Eileen talked about earlier tonight for a long time is how critical coming to these events has been. And people always say it, and you get to a point where you're so frustrated and broke sometimes that you just don't even want to hear it anymore, because you've been to the events, it should be working. Eileen never had to struggle through this, luckily, but many people do. Many people quit because of it. But, just coming to those events can change everything, and then not just coming there, but actually talking to people and being part of it.
So Rob, tell me the quick story about what the event was and how it changed things for you.
Well, it wasn't just the event that changed things for me. It was just this combination of going through what I had joked about for a while about being, if you've heard of Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, he talks about 10,000 hours, right? 10,000 hours. And so here I was just struggling and using up all of my resources, and not necessarily having any support in my family, but having great support or from good friends like Alina, who's up here on the left, and other people within this community. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was a matter of just being out there and having a chance to hear enough of the stories from real people and see that it is possible. But still, when I went to the event, you know, that you're talking to me about right now, what's created that's now called the MOB Brain Trust and the MOB Co-op, that came out of a combination of all of the things that you see on here. And then coming back from the event, I went to this event not expecting to find a joint venture, not expecting to come back with a business, hoping that something was going to change, but liking MOB enough. But I went to this event, and what I found at the event was the fact that there was actually a possibility, not a possibility, but it was clear that in this business that you could actually put together financials, and that changed everything for me, because what I realized was that's been what's missing for me for all this time. I'm an engineer. I put together business plans. I've reviewed business plans. You know what people look for? What venture capitalists look for when they go through business plans? They look at two things. First, they glance at the executive summary, and then they look at the financials. Or they might do it the other. They might, you know, they kind of know what it's about, and so they'll just go flip through 100 pages, and they'll just look at the financials.
Yeah.
The numbers in this business work. So I came home from this event not with the business plan and not with this idea that ultimately evolved, but just knowing that I needed to invest my own money. If I could just invest $5,000 a month, if you look at what you see, you still see on my screen, right?
Yeah, I still got it.
I could just invest. So that's how I started thinking, I've got to put $5,000 a month, but I don't have any money left. I can't even do this. And so I called a friend of mine who had just sold his business and had been my former business partner. And I ran this all by him, and I showed him the details behind the numbers. And the fact that he was a total outsider, and everybody on the outside for me has not really been that supportive. But he's always been kind of aware, and he's been in the process of selling a business for 2 years. So when he looked at this, and he just looked at it and said, you know, I need more details, but it sounds like a no-brainer. That helped. And now I'm thinking, okay, so I'm actually going to be able to do this with $5,000. And so now Matt is, you know, offering a co-op, and he's doing it for $1.50.
Okay, so just pause there.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what you're talking about, I mean, before this slide, there was a picture of you with a man. His name is Matt Lloyd. Can you give us a very brief overview of what that is all about?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Matt Lloyd is the founder and the chief muckety-muck. I don't know if he's the CEO, but 26-year-old entrepreneur from Perth, Australia, which
Good looking picture of
to be,
two good-looking guys.
That is my buddy Matt, and I met him in May of 2012 because I was doing events. My student Matt turned out I lived in San Diego, and then Dagan said that he was going to be speaking there, and I almost went to Washington, D.C. to see Dagan speak a few months earlier, but I couldn't make it. And now they're both going to be here in San Diego, so I had to go. And that was when I first heard Matt. And Matt had gone from $0 to $150,000 a month in the past 9 months by that point. He had started in August at a $700 a month. He had some ups and downs before, but $700, and then he started keeping record track of it, and he started with the plan. Now he talks about how, you know, strict that plan is to be able to get to what he's done. But at this point in May of 2012, he's at $150,000 a month, and this was his first live event.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So at that live event, Matt Lloyd, you know, I think he unleashed his whole traffic service. So I think it was We Sell Good Traffic plus a special bonus for titanium members and everything. And was it at that particular event that you got this whole idea about David and Goliath, or was it a bit afterwards?
That's a great question. So, you know, I could just talk and talk, but it's good to stop and make sure that we're going in the right direction. So, yeah, at the event, Matt presented. So this was the event in Cabo at the beginning of October. Matt presented his We Sell Great Traffic. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, yeah, we sell good traffic. Yep. .com.
Good traffic. We sell goodtraffic.com. And what I saw was, actually I knew that Matt had this co-op, and I knew that it was producing good results, but I didn't know much about the details. And what I saw was he had all these different plans that ranged all the way from 750 clicks a month all the way up to 6,000 clicks a month. And, I don't know if you want to talk about the price, but it wasn't so much that the price was an issue, but what I saw was that people were jumping out of their seat to get, the 6,000 clicks a month deal, and I was having trouble getting people to spend $19.95 a month on
Yeah,
an
exactly.
affiliate program.
So why do you
So to
think
me, that
why do you
definitely
think people are
influenced it.
willing to jump out and get 6,000 clicks for say $9,000? Why are they doing that?
Well, if you look at my screen, this is the kind of stuff that Matt was
Yeah,
showing.
exactly.
I don't think he was quite this aggressive at 150 clicks at one MTTV sale, but the truth is that we can do better than this, better than 150 clicks if we, using the collaborative approach and learning from each other.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay. So explain to me and explain to the people watching this what David versus Goliath is. Apart from a
Okay,
biblical story.
yeah, so it actually all relates. So now I'm back from Cabo. My buddy Rob, his name is also Rob. He lives in New York, Rob Harris, and so now we've got the $5,000 a month, and I had no question that he was going to do it, even though that would be a first. I mean, I didn't have anybody investing in my internet marketing business until now, but this was just going to happen. It was no doubt because the numbers just worked, right?
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
had this. So then I'm thinking, and actually there was another very important conversation. There's another guy who was looking at investing not only his money, but he had a bunch of people that were throwing money at him. This is a young 24-year-old entrepreneur from Saskatchewan, Canada. And so he and I talked a lot at the event. If I hadn't gone to the event, I never would have met him. But there he found out that I was in the solo ad business.
Yep.
And that's another interview. But in the solo ad business, just before this event, I had done, a whole bunch of clicks for a customer. And so when I heard Matt talking about we still good traffic, and I knew the price that he was selling it for, we had this conversation. And so it continued after the event. And so now we're talking about the $5,000 a month. He's talking about he might be able to get like $100,000 to invest, but he needs to have a guarantee. And so I'm saying, I know we can do 30 cents a click. I got great connections, and I'm sure that we can probably beat, these other co-ops that are out there. But, what we agreed on is that he's working with other people's money. If you've got other people's money, Matt has this amazing guarantee that in 3 months you're going to make back your investment, and we can't guarantee that. But so I'm thinking all this is going through my mind, and I'm thinking, I know Matt's using these sources, and I've got 3 of them that I personally work with, and if I took this $5,000 that we're going to invest and I put in any of them, that would be a good guarantee. It'd be really easy, hands off. But then I know I can do these 30-cent clicks, and so it's like David's versus the Goliath. And that was really just the epiphany, just that one thought, the David versus Goliath, that has led to something that is just so much bigger than that you're now a part of, and we're just so excited about. But it's all because I was able to put numbers on paper that I could never put, and I can tell you that I've been in I showed you that this isn't everything, but I've just been in a lot of programs. And there's a common theme to all of them. All of them had a great upside. All of them, actually I don't even show that many of them on here, but I realize that it's all about attraction marketing. It's all about ultimately finding a way to build a community. Lisa Grossman influenced me, having gone to the event
she's an
also,
amazing lady.
and she's amazing. But she also told me in Cabo, like I was hoping to get some inspiration from her because she works with people that are just so successful, and she knows me pretty well by now. And I just want to know, what else do I need to do? And it took her 2 minutes. I spent a lot of time with her, but in the first 2 minutes of her free counseling session with me, she said, "You got to build community."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You're right." I said, I know that, but Matt's building community. Sam's building community. Andrea's building a community. Everybody, what am I going to do that's any different from anybody else? And I still didn't have that. I didn't want to be a coach, and I didn't want to, and so I didn't really get it at that point, but I knew that that was true. It's just a question, okay, now what do you do to build your community? So the question is, does the community idea come first, or does the idea come first and then the community comes because it's an idea that just is a natural for the community?
Okay, so what I've got so far from what you've been talking about is, so David and Goliath is essentially a traffic co-op where we're going to get a whole bunch of other people putting their money in, other internet marketers and other obviously mob licensees, and they're putting money in and having shares in that, and we're going to be essentially like minimizing our risk as well as maximizing our gains. We're putting money into the big boys traffic run, the big boys traffic, stuff that's supposed high quality, but we're also doing a lot of ninja traffic stuff as well. And that allows people to have a big spread of different traffic sources. So as soon as you talked about that idea with me, Rob, I was instantly attracted to it. I was like, hell yeah, with even myself, even $1,000 or $2,000 with traffic, you still can't do as much testing and just testing as much as you can. But as soon as you put yourself into a traffic co-op of something like David versus Goliath, suddenly you got access to all those traffic sources that you would not have access to, because in this community we have some amazing people who are doing those tests day in and day out. And so I love that. And also, secondly, what I love about what you're doing, Rob, is essentially you're not just doing what the marketers are telling you to do. Even Matt Lloyd saying, hey, buy from my traffic, it's awesome. And people are running up there and getting it, which hey, Matt's traffic is indeed wonderful. But at the same time, you are not doing what the marketers are telling you to do. You are doing what the marketers are doing, and that's another level in itself. So you're solving a problem for lots of people. One, people need traffic, and we've got an amazing converting offer in terms of mob and titanium and platinum. I mean, the money that people are generating is just amazing. So you're solving that problem, and secondly, you're creating a real community of people, which you're doing such a fantastic job in.
Well, thank you, sir. And so you actually read into the future, because I didn't really tell you much of that, but and I apologize for kind of dragging it on. But so the David and Goliath came after I talked to these people, and I knew 5,000, and I knew that I could just do like one of these big. If we're going to go to a CPA network, I could just do one of them for 5,000 and get a good price. They don't deal with individuals; they deal with big customers. And so, if I was going to do that with my 5,000, then I wouldn't be able to test any of the others.
Exactly.
And like you said, there's all these ninja. We know we can do 2-cent clicks. We know that there's traffic exchanges, but we never have time to do that ourselves. And so that is what we can do together. And then we started talking about sharing all of the results with each other, and not making it a co-op that's about making a profit.
Yeah.
It's a co-op that's about making it, making our, well, I showed a page where we're basically going to be doing that testing on an ongoing basis and then sharing that with other people, not only inside our co-op, but also with the entire MOB organization to help to make it stronger.
Yeah. So I think we've got a really fantastic vision. The David versus Goliath vision is co-op is all about maximizing revenues and giving people excellent traffic, and then the Brain Trust. So I love the name, the Brain Trust. Tell me how that came about.
The Brain Trust came about thanks to networking with wonderful people. It goes back to Jonathan Budd and Mark Hoverson. And Futuristic Marketing, Liz became part of our team last year in 2012. She and I were the two most experienced internet marketers on the team, but we had a great team of 7, including Alina, who's now part of this. The 3 of us are now part of this. And when I was talking to Liz about, okay, so we're going to do this co-op, and we're going to get $30,000, I had no doubt that we were going to take, from the time I came up with David versus Goliath, okay, so we need more money, we need to do bigger. So we've got my 5,000, we can't do enough with that 30,000, just pulled it out of the air. and thought, how would we do? We could do $1,000 shares. We'll have 5 shares. We'll get other people to put in the rest. With $30,000, now we can do something. Now we can do $10,000 of the big guys, so we could do $10,000 of the little guys. Now that's David versus Goliath. And so now I'm talking to Liz, and we're going to do that. And that's going to be, I'm thinking it's probably going to be 10, 15 people, and they've all got skin in the game. So that's a mastermind team. And now we're planning the presentation for, and Liz is also responsible for making me do that presentation that I was just sharing with you. I was not gonna do my webinar in a professional way, but Liz has done product launches before, and thanks to my relationship with her, conversation with her, about to hang up and said I got to go prepare my webinar, and I started a whole nother thing. So anyway, so we're talking. I'm saying, the co-op is nothing new. There's lots of co-ops out there, and doing the mastermind team, that's nothing new, but they're so powerful. Think about what that can be. And Liz said, well, she said, Andrew, the story of Andrew Carnegie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, kind of like that. But really, I didn't remember what she was talking about. And what she said was, Andrew Carnegie considered himself to be kind of an average guy, but he got together a group of people, and he formed this brain trust.
Yeah.
And I said, Brain Trust. I love that name. We're going to be the Mo Brain Trust. And Peter was there. So it was me and Liz and Peter on the Thursday night that this was all coming together. That's how Brain Trust came. I thank Andrew Carnegie and Liz Hester for that. But I think it just worked so well, and I know you liked it from the very beginning.
Yep. Awesome. So as the Brain Trust, it implies 2 things. One, we are the brains of this co-op. We're constantly talking to each other. We're constantly trying to find the best way to serve the people who are in the co-op. It's all about service in the end and delivering results. And then it's also about trust. The fact that a lot of the people who are in Mob, a large majority of them, are not experienced marketers, and they don't have a lot of traffic experience. So getting together marketers who are who are knowledgeable in their field, who have gotten results before, and putting it in their hands. I mean, I just pitched this idea to some of my group, and they were like, hell yeah, I don't want to do traffic and stuff. Like, what the hell do I know? And I don't want to waste money either. So, Sam, go ahead and just, take my money, literally take my money and invest it for me. And, I did not offer to take their money. I just thought, so it's a wonderful idea. So obviously this whole David Goliath and this Brain Trust is coming to an internet marketing corner near you. You're going to hear a lot more about it in the future. And, a thing that I've loved about it from the start, Rob, was your wish to make this transparent, to make it into not only into an information product that people can say, look, this traffic source worked, we did this with this, this is what we got out of it. These are the conversions, these are the numbers, this is the profit we made. I love that whole sequence because, that really is sharing and people will find so much value out of it.
And I'm glad, and I'm glad that you like that, and I give credit to Dagan Smith, who was my first mentor, who got me in front of Matt Lloyd.
Yeah.
Matt Lloyd got me into the futuristic marketing, which got me with Liz Hester and Alina. So think about how all this stuff is interwoven together. And I said at the beginning that I didn't have a story, but the story, you just don't know the story until you have the chance to actually do something.
Yeah, your story is awesome, Rob. It's an awesome story. But, even though we're the Brain Trust, we're not going to be giving out everything at this very point in time. We're going to keep a few things guarded because we're testing all the time, and we got some big plans. So if you're watching this video and you can see Rob, I'm going to show Rob again for a few seconds. Hi, say hi to the folks, Rob. Hi, and there's Clinton. There's Clinton on the other side as well. Good-looking guy there. Okay, he's the real brains of this whole operation. Rob doesn't do anything really. So there's a Brain Trust thing there, and we've got some T-shirts happening. We're going to do something pretty big and pretty special. So keep your eyes open to some more information. And of course, if you want to know more about it, you're going to have to talk to one of us, and we'll think of how we might be able to shoe you in if you ask really nicely. Okay. Any last words that you want to say, Rob, before we go?
I just want to say that the best thing that has come out of everything that we've done is the opportunity to get to meet people like Sam that I never would have met. I mean, I knew his name. I'd seen him in some of the various groups that we're in together, but Sam and so many great people, you know, this is what community is all about.
Yeah,
It's not
absolutely.
about having thousands of people, but it's about having a group of people that care about what we're doing, care about each other, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And anybody who sees this that knows Sam is thinking about whether they should work with Sam. He is awesome, and there's lots of people that will give him great testimonials. So I would definitely highly recommend him, and I can't wait to go to Perth and have him show me around his hometown.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Rob. Remind me to give you $50 up right after this conversation. Okay. So
Sounds good.
thank you everybody who's still on the line. I don't know. I don't even want to know what time it is, but you guys are machines. I really, really appreciate you. Appreciate the people watching this little video that we've made. Hopefully, it hasn't been too long. But I'm incredibly excited, and we expect to see some good things coming out of this. And more importantly, serving and helping a whole bunch of people. Internet marketing is not about hiding behind your computer screen, making lots of money, even though that's a very nice thing to do. But it's also about really helping people and solving their problems and that positive vibe that people want to be part of, something big. And I tell you what, Mob is big, but what's going to be bigger is this David versus Goliath thing. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to go and turn this thing off and say goodbye to these wonderful people and have some time with my family. And I wish you all guys well. Thank you so much for your time. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Sam.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.